So for adding graphical debugging features, I can demonstrate this turn order issue here. This guy right here is going to like skip a turn for some reason. I'll go down and he should move, but he just stays there. I'll go up and now he does move and I'll go down again and he'll just stay there. So it would be useful to see the contents of the turn order queue. I'll render the entity IDs over the entities and then I will render the turn queue or something down here. Come back here into game and then input, toggle debug view. We'll have keyboard F1 for toggling debug view here. Now if we go into main, we need to go into our input handler and we just add this, else if event EP SDL3.SDLKF1. Let's go into the UI, render debug overlay, render entity index and turn order over corresponding entities. That's the first thing we want to do. The second thing we want to do is render the turn queue. Render debug text, that's what it's called. Render debug text. There's a single tiny size, 8 by 8 pixels. That's probably sufficient because the tile size is 16 by 16, so that's going to be a quarter of a sprite. And we just put that in the upper left corner. We do have SDL text as well, right? So we can have more fine-grained control over the text size and stuff like this. But for now, we'll probably just use SDL render debug text. RGBA, uint 8s, and they're going to be uninitialized. SDL3, SDL get render draw color, and we will pass in the platform renderer, the address of R, address of G, address of B, and address of A. Before we come into the loop here, we're going to set this to blue. SDL3, SDL, render debug text, the platform renderer. We need an X and a Y, which is going to be screen pause. I mean, screen PX, why not? Screen PX.X, screen PX.Y. And we pass in a C string here. Jai has really useful string handling features like toC string and string format. I want to leverage those. So in order to do that, we need to put the temp allocator on the context. Entity index is going to be a C string to C string. So it takes an S string. So we'll need to do a T print percent it index. I'm doing this in the wrong scope here. SDL3, SDL render debug text, and then we will pass in the entity index string. Okay, this should be good enough to call now. I just need to go and update the call site, then we can test this. And we need to set the context. Call this temp storage allocator. Allocator proc data is temp storage allocator. Allocator is temp storage allocator. Okay, so I'm in here, and then if I press F1, I have to hold down F1 because it should be a toggle. But there we go. So I'm 0, then we have a ghost right here who's 1, a ghost up there who's 3, and there's a ghost who's there who's 2. Okay, let's fix the toggle guy. If event key down, then input debug view XOR with true. And now if we come back here and we press F1, now it toggles. So like if I delete this guy on the left, 3 and 1 should stay the same on the right. 1, 2. Except, oh no, we still, oh wait, look at that. Oh, look at this. So entity is valid. This is a function pointer. And apparently this like auto-casted to a bool. I guess it's gonna be it, right? Attack, now he's gone. Okay. Turn order, here we go. So 402 ring buffer size turns -1. Peek at turns, we're going to peek at our it if entity index in turn queue is it index. Build a new string, entity index in the turn queue, and we will render this at screen pix y plus 8. This is going to be turn string. Number sign is mismatch. Wanted S64, I gave a U64. Oh dude, this keeps getting me. This keeps like, yeah, from the last stream, like we have to cast this guy to an S64. So that way we don't underflow this thing. I keep forgetting about that. I need to fix my API. Build 0, press F1. Okay, so this is, the top number is the entity index and the bottom number is the turn in the turn queue. So let's see, if I go down and back up, this guy's basically not going to be in the turn queue. Now he's going to stay there if I go back up. Okay, there it is. So I went back, he was not in the turn queue. I went back up. He got NQ'd into the last position. And this is why he got skipped on that one turn. And then I'll go down, he'll move, and then he's not in the turn queue. I'm going to go up in the map, and I'm going to pop off the turn queue, right and left attack, and then this guy's going to get added to the turn queue, but he can't play. So this is one way we can see the bugs in here by looking at entity index and then position in the turn queue. That's nice. So we're going to iterate over the turn queue and just peek. This is just entity index now because we're not really mixing concerns up here. We need the entity view because we need to know the entity type in order to get the correct picture, the correct profile. We don't need the screen pixels of the entity. We probably want to shrink the size of the profile and maybe add a little background, like a black background, to the turn queue, we'll have an atlas index entity, get entity tile index, y pix. It's going to be platform logical screen dims pix dot y minus. So if we do 14 height, then we can have 2 pixels on top, 2 pixels on bottom as a black border, for example. And then in the middle, we'll have 10 pixels left. And we can scale the sprites down to 10 pixels and render them. And then if we just go over by 2, we will move the debug thing. I mean, we could even set this to 0, right? We render 2 things. First, we render a background, and then we render the sprite. So the SDL frect this is going to be the atlas index. Now the destination here. So this guy is going to be xpix, but we need a little offset, right? So let's just say plus 2.0. And then for y, we are going to start at ypix. Ypix is going to be the logical screen dims pixels minus the q height, so that's minus 14. So this plus 2 here, right? Plus 2.0. And the width here is going to be 10 pixels, and the height is also going to be 10 pixels. So that means that we take pix plus equal the destination width plus a padding. So padding, I guess we'll have padding. Pix is 2.0. This will be padding pixels. So dest width plus padding pixels. And I think it's actually twice the padding pixels because you have padding on the left and the right. Build this guy and I'll press F1. Okay. So down at the bottom of the screen here, right, you see the turn queue, and these guys are like animating and everything. It's actually not that bad. When the turn queue empties, these guys disappear entirely, which is normal. That's expected behavior, but it just looks like kind of jank. Fill rec. Okay, so it's going to be background, I guess. X is going to be the xpix, and Y is going to be the ypix. The width is going to be the portrait width pix. Pix is 10. Portrait dim pix. The width is going to be the portrait dim pixels plus 2 times the padding pixels. And the height is just the Q height. We update xpx down here, which is the destination width. That's just going to be portrait dim pix plus 2 times the padding pix. And I do that here. I guess I should just update it by background width. Now we'll build that and we'll run it. Press F1, and there we go. It's flashing as it's being repopulated. I hope to see you around. Peace.